up, everybody? I want to welcome you all to another episode of Let's Talk with Ro. I know you guys got a lot of places you could be in this sunshine, but you're in the right place. Tonight, I have a very special guest. A lot of you guys have been inboxing, anticipating this show, and we are here. I want to welcome Dorenzo Rans Hines on the show
Wow.
tonight, man. Thanks
I'm here.
so much for coming on the
You
show.
are welcome.
Such a big dog coming to
I'm,
make time for little old me. You
I'm here.
want to tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a DC native, born and raised most mainly in DC. Graduate of DC public schools. I used to be a police officer at MPD.
Wow,
Uh,
that's something I didn't know.
yeah, I was a police. I was the real police in the sixth district for
Wow,
quite a while.
I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah, gun
That's
toting and everything.
a lot of people probably didn't know that. So, of course, he didn't mention that he is the CEO of the Salon
Um,
Rands,
Salon. Well, I guess so. Rents companies.
Rands
Yeah.
Companies. Okay, so how many salons do you actually have?
Well, it's four. We're working on a fifth one in Marlow Heights.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
big stuff right there. I know that for me, as a salon owner, this show is personal,
Good.
because I look around and I say, I want mentorship,
Mhm.
and things of that sort. And my media team and I were seeking that out in this area,
Okay.
and I said, the only person that I could really think of as far as doing the franchise piece of it all is Rans.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm telling you, I said, we got to get a hold of Rans.
Well, you did it. You did your due diligence. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. But tonight, I wanted to really dig in because people want to know who the man is behind the making of it all. So tonight, before we really squawk in on business pieces of it, I want to know some things about you, Little Rands, and kind of get some pieces of that story and how it all started and how we got to where we are now.
Okay.
A lot of people see people like yourself, men that's successful and things like that, and they don't understand that it's not an easy walk.
Right.
Because if it was, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
You know what
True.
I mean?
Yeah.
So, just respect first of all.
Thank
But I don't waste any time, you guys. I hop right into the first question. So the first question I have for you is, did you think when you were a child that you would ever be a salon owner?
I don't know. Well, yeah, and no.
Okay, tell me more about that.
When I think as a child, I adored my father so much. Even as a young man, I just wanted to do whatever he was doing. So
Okay.
if he continued, he owned the salon originally. And my father opened the salon in the 70s.
Wow.
So I'm the epitome of a shop baby. I mean, when you talk about a salon kid,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I mean, my
So-
mother had a chalkboard in the office and everything. I mean, we were shop babies.
Really?
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit about what it looked like for you as a child in your household. I did not know your dad was a salon owner.
Mhm.
So tell us just everything we need to know about that piece.
Well, my father was like a serial entrepreneur. He was not he was not a very well educated man, but he was just very wise, very intelligent, and trying to be self sufficient.
Okay.
My mother was strict and stern, and their roles were kind of flip flop. Well, my father might have been more nurturing, and my mother might have been more, with the discipline portion of it. And I think I got a good balance of that. Is that me?
Is that you or is it me? I'm sorry. Excuse us.
Sorry, I don't know.
Go ahead. They'll edit that out. We good.
But
it was me.
I feel like what I saw from my father was, to me, the epitome of a man. I mean, he provided with the utmost. I mean, I can never take that away from him, man. I mean, he taught me lessons early on that now sometimes even I look back like, man, dang, okay, I get it now, So I saw him say things that I might have been 7. I'm like, all right, Dad, all right, I'm trying to go play or something, but I understand it now. And I appreciate that because my parents were older. My father was 45 when I was born. So I had a mature father that had already been through some stuff instead of a young, like I am with my kids. I'm still trying to get there. I mean, he had already been through some stuff, saw some stuff, made money, lost money.
Okay.
So I just got to see him, I think, in his best form.
Question: is your father still alive?
No, that's
Okay.
how I end up acquiring the salon.
I got
Right.
you.
So
So, was the original name of the salon what it is now?
it was called Hair Metrics, and we were on St. Barnabas Road originally. And then I took over and moved from St. Barnabas to Old Silver Hill Road, and I changed the name to Salon Rings.
Okay, what made you change the name to Salon Runs? You know, I always see like we go in the Bible and big things like that.
Mhm.
And you notice that when a name is changed, it's normally a new level or new route, a new power.
Well, it was a change in regime. I mean, of course, in the death of my father, there were things that took place with my brother and I. I thought it was time for a change. I had a new vision. I had a new goal. I was stepping out of his shadow. I mean, I think the first 2 years when he passed away, I tried to do my best rendition of him. And what I realized was, nobody can do him but him. I'm not going to be able to do it like that. And I had to, forge my own path with it. And I mean, I knew everything that people see right now today. My father died on December 6th of 2008 at 4 a.m. From that point on, it's an accumulation of every moment from that point on. I mean, so a lot of the success is from, trying to, I guess, mask hurt, early on, because I had to find something to keep me going. But, and a lot of it is like, I wanted to make sure that if I was going to jump in this thing, that I did right by him.
I got you. That's good.
And not just him. I mean, my mom too. Now I can't. I talk a lot about my dad, but my mom, she was in the trenches with him too. So I'll never, not give her flowers, especially while she's still here. But my father was the brain. My mother might have just been the transmission. Like, okay, let's keep it moving.
Right.
And early on, I learned a lot from her. To get me prepared for things where she saw my father make mistakes that maybe, he didn't have to go through. So I appreciated both ends of it.
Wow, that's good right there.
Yeah.
So that's good right there. We learned a lot of things about Mr. Doranzo Hines today. Yeah. Now, question. I like to think about the character of a man, the character of a business owner. A lot of times business owners are seen just in the business light.
Right.
A lot of time people don't understand why you make decisions that you make.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand why you move the way you do, because it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. Now, as a child, if I was to ask your mom what was an adjective that she would use to describe you, what do you think she would say?
Bad. My father would say mischievous. My mother would say bad. I think I gave my mother the blues. I gave her. She used to carry around a paddle.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna tell her a story real quick.
Go ahead.
I remember we were in. It was called Woody's. Okay. Before it was Hex in Marlow Heights. A lot of people may not know Hex became Macy's, but we were in the store, and my mother she said, "Don't touch nothing." And I remember I ran in between. You know how they used to have those clothes racks? There were circular racks with all the clothes on.
Yes.
I ran in between there and was hiding and was playing. And when I tell you, she whooped me, she beat me so bad that a tornado came. And I'm like, damn, you beat me so bad it started storming. That's how I felt. But it was already, I'm like, man, she just had a wrath that I just, for some reason, I had to try to test. Like I had to. She would say to go left, but I'm going to go right anyway. I had to. And whatever I tried to do, I just had.
Gave that woman the blues.
I gave her the blues, man. I appreciate her because I'm telling you, I gave her a run for her money.
That's so funny. So I'm gonna go to the comments for 1 second because they lighten it up. Okay, we have Rhonda Lewis. We want to welcome to the show, Miss.
That Miss Lewis is the general manager of Renz Incorporated.
Okay, well, we want to give a shout out. Your people, your team is here tonight. It's a lot of new faces. Rachel
And she's
Sunshine.
the manager at Salon Renz too.
Okay, we want to welcome you. I got one of my peoples on here. Hey Sam, how you doing? He said I finally can put a face. I can finally put a face to it. Yep, he is definitely a Salon
I
Rams
appreciate
fan.
it.
Yep. But thank you all for tuning in. We got Terry Anton on here. If I didn't get your name, forgive me. But thank you all for tuning in. Don't hesitate to drop your questions in. Y'all know this goes by swiftly. But back to you, Rance. So when you were younger, you would be described as being bad. So when you coming out of those younger years, what did junior high school and high school look like for you?
Man, I think it depends on whose perception it came from.
We
But
want yours.
I think for me, when I got to junior high school, so man, this is a long story, but when I went to junior high school, my parents decided that after like 18 years, they were going to separate. And I'm going to tell you, going to junior high school was one of the best things that happened to me. My mother moved back to DC in Southwest. And we were living in Temple Hills. And the best thing that ever happened to me was going to Jefferson Junior High School in DC. And I think that changed the trajectory of my future because I got to see kids in different lights, different nationalities, different financial status. My elementary school, I couldn't tell if everybody was poor or not. It was no differentiation. We all was the same color. It seemed like no difference in background.
Right.
But I got to DC public schools and went to Jefferson Junior High School. Started playing football there. They had a program there called Best Men. And this program was a mentorship for boys. And I'll never forget. I got selected to go in this program. It was the Dean of Men. He put me in this program because I was being bad, basically. And he told me that they want boys, you gonna do it. And I didn't have any other option. So I did it. But that program, I'm gonna credit it for changing a lot of my life.
Okay.
Because I remember I'm like 13. I'm eating dinner at Colin Powell House. Like, okay. They took us and exposed us to a lot of things where I saw success in a different way.
Okay.
My mother and father were, marginally successful for their education and things like that. But I saw just another different light of success on Black people.
Okay.
I got to rub shoulders with these politicians as a child. And not saying that I was in there politicking, but it was nice to see other people that looked like me
doing things on
that level. And it was nice to see people that looked like me and nice stuff. I'm not going to negate, it was nice to go to Colin Powell House to see, everybody don't got to live in Tantallion to have a nice house.
So when you went into Colin Powell's house, we want the big stuff. When you walked into Colin Powell's house, first of all, did you know that's where you were headed when you guys were going?
We knew.
So when you went inside,
we knew, but I don't think I understood it all the way.
Okay, so when you went into Colin Powell's house, do you remember one thing that you thought initially when you walked in?
Yeah, he had an armored knight with a sword, like it was in like a real castle. And I remember, and I was in my mind, I said, you gotta have paper to have a knight, with a real with the hood and everything. Like I was walking into, a castle.
Okay.
In medieval times. And after that, I was like, oh yeah, I want the Benzes and the Ferraris, but I might get settled for a knight. I started to see it, different things, and it opened my eyes up to appreciation for something like that would be considered art to just be cool. Like that's kind of dope.
That's cool. That's interesting.
But that's how I never would have thought about it, but it did. It made me feel like, hey, anything is almost possible.
Okay, I'm gonna run to the audience real quick. I'm trying to take your questions. We got a question. Thank you for your question, Terry. Aside from the business of hair, are you into real estate? The question is to inquire about your thoughts on ownership or leasing.
Well, actually, I am a licensed real estate agent.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, I'm a licensed agent. I'm not currently actively practicing, but I've been licensed about 8 years now.
Okay.
Are you asking about owning or leasing?
She's asking about, do you think it's best to own property or even necessary to own buildings to run these hair salons? Or do you think leasing is still an option?
I don't think it's necessary. I mean,
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think. Actually, I'll be honest with you. My first location I own, all the responsibilities on me. I can appreciate it. The other ones where I can just call somebody and say, hey, you know,
The
the roof
AC.
is leaking. Yeah, the AC broke. You know,
We need this.
right. So I can appreciate those things, but I think it's all, you know, situational. It's what you want to do with your money. I mean, at the point where you buy a building, you got to look at other places like McDonald's. Like the McDonald's Corp is not in the restaurant business; they're in the real estate business. You know, they'll let you franchise it out. Now you as the franchisee, you're in the restaurant business, but McDonald's still own the building. So they're in the real estate business. So it all depends. I think, you know.
It depends on what you want to do. All right, they lighten us up with the question. Shayna, thank you for your question. Since mentorship was a pivotal aspect of your life, what have you done or plan to do to pay it forward in your community?
Well, I tell you what, I need to do more. I'll be honest with that. But I've done a vast amount of mentorship over the years with operators that have come into my salon. Now, rather a lot of them want to admit it or not, I mean, I've been that driving force behind a lot of these people that are number one that you hear about all the time that started in my shop when they weren't talked about.
Well, so, I want to say that I have had like your leftovers on many occasions. A lot of my stylists have come, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Anybody that came from you was amongst some of the best that I ever had.
I appreciate that.
So whatever you're doing, it didn't matter to me. I've heard people say good and bad about you, but I didn't even meet you and I knew it was good.
Well, I think it depends on the situation.
The proof is in the pudding. Yeah. I'm looking at the development. I'm looking at those that have come from under you. And I'm telling you, they are some of the best operators. Whatever's going on in your front lines, it is talent at its highest levels.
Well, the thing I think that dictates that is, you know, leadership starts from the top, as they say. I'm not going to try to boast on it, but if you get to know me just as a person, you'll know I like the better things. I don't want the Toyota. I want the Benz. I don't want, and it's not knocking nobody else, but if I can see the best, then I want the best.
And look, I'm trying to keep it. Look, yeah. If you heard the man, he wants the best.
Yeah, I want the best.
But we got your people coming on here left and right. So we got a fudge ball on here. Mm-hmm. And he said, to my good friend, Dorenzo Hines, he said, I'm proud to be your friend. He just said, I am motivated.
Oh, that's my man. You. Now, listen, that's my man, right? That's my man, Mario. That was my partner on Midnights in the 6th District, MPD. That was my partner. So, if y'all ever don't believe I was the police, that was my partner right there.
Well, he right here.
Many a nights we done got into it.
Okay, we got another question. Do you want to own a restaurant or a lounge?
I would like to do a cigar bar. That's in the I'm like a quasi cigar connoisseur.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm trying to get my good friend that's in this room to jump in on that with me.
Okay, so cigar bar possibly to come. Okay,
but if you got an idea and you want to invest and partner up, you know, call me 202-701-5171.
We'll make sure we drop that in the comments for you guys later. Okay, we still got questions rolling in.
Okay.
You can't be in his salons and not want to be better and not want to better yourself around the other stylists. Yet you have to be coachable. That came from your manager, Rachel. She's basically saying when you in there, you got to be your best self. So, and she's saying you got to be coachable. So does that mean if you see somebody, let's say you see somebody operating outside of the way you feel like they should, what's your response? Do you ignore that and just say they got to learn on their own? Or you like, we kind of need to have a conversation so we can get this ball rolling?
Well, because we are mainly a suite concept now, it's only so far I can go with it. But if I see that you're not doing properly, there are multiple conversations we're gonna have.
Okay.
At that point, if you just don't want to grasp it, then I mean, I can only just collect the sweet rent from you, and I won't refer you any clients. So the thing is about this is let me go into it. I still refer clients. I got all these shops, all these stylists, but I still answer my cell phone and schedule clients and refer clients and send people to my people. But I can't help you get better if I don't feel confident sending you to work. I gotta know when I send it that they're gonna get A1 service. And if they ain't getting A1, I need them to at least get B plus, like
Right.
good service. So the minute that I see that that's not happening, and you gonna go rogue and operate in your own realm, well, that's the beauty of the suite concept. Then you can. There's nothing I can do about that.
Right.
As long as you're not interfering with the overall brand and atmosphere of the facility,
All right.
then we all right.
Well, let's dig back on that. Let's go back to Young Rans. We kind of hitting it back and forth. We're bouncing. So, what did a high school Rans look like after mentorship? After the Best Men program?
Yeah.
After the Best Men program. So your senior year, what did that look like for you?
Oh, I thought I was the man. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie to anybody. I mean, my senior year, I felt good. I was leaving high school, going to be a police cadet at MPD.
Okay.
I already had a job, a good job, not a job, a career. They were sending me to school for free. I mean, everything was just right. I was on a high, an emotional high. I felt good. I remember. I felt like I knew the direction of my life. Where I looked at a lot of peers that I knew, they really didn't know, where, it was uncertain, but I was very certain where I was going. I saw success. I could see it. I knew that I was going to be able to have the objects I wanted. At that time, I didn't care about the, like peace. You know how now, I want to be at peace. But as a 19-year-old, 17-year-old kid, I was making like 30,000 coming out of high school.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't tell me nothing. I was cool.
Look,
I was
doing good.
Yeah, I had a car. I remember my man, he's sitting right here. He come home from college. I got a brand new Lexus.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a good time. I look back on it and I say, there were things I could have done better. But then I also say, man, I enjoyed this city. DC, I enjoyed it.
Okay, so the goal of this show was for people to see and get an idea of what kind of person you are, in your personal life. So what are some of your hobbies outside of running the business?
Well, like I said, I like my cigars. I like my smokes. And even though I'm not supposed to do it, it's very hard to let that hobby go because it brings me peace. It's one of them, it's hard to explain. Most people think you just smoking and you just puffing, but it does something for the tranquility of my soul. All right.
I've heard men say that though.
Yeah,
a lot of guys. I've heard women say that.
Yeah, so I mean, women enjoy it. It don't matter what man or woman. But I also like my cars. If anybody know me, they know I like my cars. I like them fast and expensive.
Okay. So look, if we were to catch you at a birthday dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will we catch you on the dance floor or would you be sitting down?
I might be singing if I'm drunk.
Oh my God.
All depend on what time. But nowadays you might catch me at the birthday party with my 360 doing the video. So it really all depends. Depending on the crowd that I'm around. I'm cautious of the people that I enjoy my life with. I'm not as free with it as I once was. I think, I'm just very, I want people in my space that I can give something to you and then I get something back. Like I feel like I want to deposit something.
I can tell that you are a very seasoned businessman because of the comment that you just made. Normally you learn that through very hard lessons.
Oh, I done been through. If anybody watching or anybody done followed the story or you heard on the streets, I done had the worst happen to me as a business owner, but I done had the best happen to me as a business owner. And even if they both like are running neck and neck. My father always used to say to me, he used to say, you know, once the milk is spilled, it's already spilled. You can't cry over it. So, and that saying has become so much more prevalent in the last few years. It's like, all right, it's on the ground now. You know,
What
what
can
you
we
gonna
do?
do? You either getting it up or you going to buy some new milk. So my theory is, I ain't picking that up. I'm gonna go buy me 2 cartons of milk now. In case I spill one, I got extra.
I love it. Let's go to the audience. Okay, we got a question for you. If you could tell the young you anything, what would it be? And if we get a question that you need more time on, we can come back to it.
I think there's a lot of things I would tell the young me.
What's one thing?
But one thing I would say is the one very important thing I would say, man, is to just be a little bit more humble. I think early on, I was young, I was making money. I don't know if I was leaving good deposits places I went, and I felt like I was just. I'm not gonna never say I felt like I was better than anybody because I never felt that way, but I just always knew like why I'm gonna buy a car with cloth seats. I want the leathers, like it's just all like, and I always wanted other people to want the best, and what it's hard for me to kind of accept that another person would not want the best. And it's hard for me to see it sometimes, even though that's not important to them. I just want you
to have the best.
Because I want to have the conversation with you about it. You know, like I got a friend of mine just bought a Rolls Royce. I just want to talk to you about it. I don't care if, you know, let's talk about it. How did that make you feel?
Yeah.
You know, how did it make you feel? You know, because I get a high off of that. Like it made you feel good, you know. That's the conversation.
You know, you might be a good talk show host because you know that's the making of it. Maybe. It's the love for the people.
Yeah,
when you want to talk to somebody and you want to know how something made somebody feel, that's big right there.
But I mean, people don't. I think people don't. You gotta know. I want to know how it make you feel. If somebody called me, man, I'm going to the moon. Hey, call me when you get up there. How you feel up there? You know, what is it like?
Let's go to the audience. They are lighting it up. Okay, you got your cousin on here, Reggie and Sandra. They said peace to you. They said support. How important is your family?
Hold on. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
My cousin Reggie and Sandra, right? See, they the model. I'm not gonna put their business, but they the model couple. They the model. Like me and my wife. I want to be like them. When I get old.
Well, that's big. Whoever you all are, look, I'm sending my kudos to you. I hope to connect with y'all one day because that's a big one right there.
Yeah.
That's excellent for you to say they're the model and we know your taste.
Yeah, they the model.
That's right. That's all right there. Okay, so how important is your family to you and have they contributed to your success? That's a question coming from Henrietta Dandy.
Okay. That's my wife's aunt.
Okay.
I mean, I think early on when I started, family wasn't important. I think that's only because you gotta show people something. And I think that's one thing in the Black community. Everybody want to see, you know. Yeah. Nobody just gonna give you nothing until they see. Like, well, show me, you know.
Yeah,
so it was a lot of showing and putting together on my own. Now my wife was right there. You know, but I needed that emotional support because for a long time, I ain't had nobody that understood what I was going through, you know, like as a business owner, like, well, hey, I could go home and talk to her, like, look, you know, I got this going on, I'm trying to do this, you know, and she would just be the rock, like, all right, you know, you got it. That's that deposit of confidence. And I mean, I don't know if during that moment I acknowledged it like I should have, but you know, when I look back on it, it's like, yo, I would be on the phone with her. She in college. I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't got no money, you know, and I needed that boost at times, actually all the time. I mean, I still need it today when I go through stuff. But I mean, as a young man with no real life experience, it meant a lot to know that I had a friend you know, that I could just confide in. And on top of that, I mean, I had two good uncles. My uncle Rick, who, man, this dude is like, that's like my second daddy. So uh and that go back to the family piece. You know, I had good male examples. And my uncle Ray, who's, man, like my third daddy, you know, I mean, educated. I just had really good, solid men in my life, you know.
That's all important. And we got to go back to these
I'm
comments.
with
They
it.
lighten you up. Okay, so Fudge said, he did. Fudge, thank you for stamping that you used to be
Yeah.
an officer. Fudge said, I know you will say you are confident and not arrogant, and there's a huge difference. He's saying that you are a confident man, not an arrogant man.
Yeah. I
Okay,
appreciate, well, that's because he know me.
right.
And I know him. And I know we connect on another level.
Another level.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Anton. Thank you so much. That's one of my number one fans. I'm in law enforcement for 24 years. How was the transition from law enforcement to being an entrepreneur?
Well, I was already an entrepreneur when I was in law enforcement. I had the salons while I was the police.
Were you were fully, your dad was still in the picture then, right?
No, my father died when I was 18.
Oh, okay.
So
tell us some of what that was looking like. Who was running the salons while you were doing law enforcement?
I was doing it all. I was
my.
running the shop. I was I mean, at the time when he died, it was only one. And when I took over, it was just one. And a lot of people had this notion that I took over this like successful thing. And I didn't. You know, I'm just being honest. I gotta just, you know, it was not. I'm not even. It was a crumbling foundation. I mean, and I had no disrespect to my mother or father, but they had gotten older. I think my father was just. He knew he was not well, and things were just not. It was not the best situation to walk into. And my initial feeling when he died was to close. But the stylists that worked there, they loved him so much that they told me I couldn't. I never forget that day I walked in there. They were like, "What? What you mean?" And I wanted. I think even to this day, I hope that the people that work in my shops love me that much. Like, it was a beautiful thing to see, and it's still a beautiful thing to see these people come. That used to work for my father 40 years ago. They still come see me, you know, just because they loved him that much. So, I mean, I think early on I wanted to emulate that so much. But the thing is, what I had to learn that you can't duplicate anything, you know, because nothing is the same. Even if I clone you, you're not going to be exactly the same. It's close, but it ain't gonna always be the same. So, I mean, I think I was doing so much early on that I wanted to keep busy. You know.
Your people from your salon said, we do love you. You all right?
Oh, now, I mean, now some of my people, now I ain't gonna, now, I mean, over the years, I'm gonna tell you, I've been blessed. Now, I can't lie to nobody. Now, I done had some ups and downs, just like any business, and I done made some decisions that I may not have made as an older me now. But in that moment, it was the right decision. And in that moment, those decisions had to be made for various reasons. You know.
Okay, look, I want to dig right here because I really want to know about you coming out of law enforcement and what made you make that decision. Like, because I want specifics on how were you in law enforcement and running a salon, and specifically when did you come off of that and why?
I was in law enforcement running the salons. Their salons were not running full throttle. See, that was the problem. They were running. I mean, I remember just being happy to make $1,000. I remember telling somebody like, man, if I can just make $1,000 a month, man, I can go buy this Benz. I remember telling my man sitting in this room, if I make $1,000 extra a month from the salon, I can go give me a 500. I can go give me a S500. That's how I felt. I was trying to chase things, you know, because it made me feel good. But I think one day I was working and I got suspended from work. I never forget. They suspended me for unauthorized part-time. Right?
So what does that mean?
That just means that I was running the salon and I took a stand against the department where they wanted me to report my income. They wanted me to do things that I didn't want to do. I felt like you want to pry, you want to be nosy, and I was like, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
And I felt like the reason why I took that stand was because somebody is going to come behind me that's on a department that owns a business that's not going to have that confidence to stand up for themselves. And then they're going to tell them people something and get in the jam. You know, so I felt like the department needed to change. What I realized was you can't change a machine. You know, a motor is always going to be a motor. It might have different pistons, it might have a different training, but a motor is a motor. It's going, you know, it's going to run like it's supposed to. So I would learn that, and I said, you know what? Maybe, you know, this is the stop for me. And when I got suspended, they suspended me. It's the worst thing they did because I got that time to be in my business and enjoy it. Like I started, that was the turning point where I was like, you know what, man, life ain't all about the dollar. Like I'm like, I just like the time. I wanted to be able to enjoy. I was at peace. I felt good. My family was good, you know, and I got closer to God because I had to pray. I'm like, God, look, I'm not gonna get paid. You know, pull this together for me. And I got deep in my prayer.
You got people on here vouching for that though. You got Mary Vest said, I remember that day. She said you were done with you said she said you said you was done with law enforcement.
Yeah, she was my partner. I remember my last call with her. This lady was on the stoop banging on somebody's back door. And they sent me the call and she was on the call and it was cold and raining outside. And I sat in the car on a loudspeaker. It was like, hey, get off the and I ain't even get out. I was like, Mary, yeah, this is it, baby. I can't. I ain't got it in me no more.
Let's go to the audience. You got a bang of questions. Okay, how has your staff helped you to achieve your success?
Well, the staff has been different over the years, but I think early on so the concept of the salon changed. The model has changed, where you know I was open floor. I needed everybody to be talented. I was trying to get everybody to be on one accord. So that the salon, it was a brand. Like you knew you could come here and you was gonna get X, Y, and Z. You know, we was good at certain things, and I wanted my salon to be good at weaving, braiding, and silk presses. That was I wanted to get in that niche because those were all the things that people were desiring. So I just took time early on, and I sought out stylists that had those qualities. I remember contacting people directly, like, hey, you know, I'm Rans, I got a salon, you know, why don't you come work over here, come check us out. I was on like doing my own active recruiting. I didn't wait for anything to come my way. I went and attacked it and got it. And I remember I would talk to people and they, oh no, I ain't coming. 6 months later they did. Then it just started like that. And then my first shop, I had too many, I didn't have anywhere to put people. And so I finished the basement, I outgrew that. And I remember I was when I got suspended, I was riding down St. Barnabas Road, and I told my mother, I said, Mom, you know, it sure would be nice to have another shop on St. Barnabas Road, like right on St. Barnabas. I'm talking on the phone to her, and I look over and I see my second shop. There's a sign up for rent, salon. I look, I said, God ain't, you know, that was one of my first. As soon as
you said it,
that was one of my first moments where I saw God like do it. You know, it wasn't about, you know, some people don't believe until you got, sometimes he got to show you a little bit for you to like understand.
Yeah.
And Head Joker was like, hey, you better believe, call that number. Call the number. And I called the number, and that dude, I'm going to tell you what, my second shop, I opened a second shop up with $6,000.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't had no money. There ain't no money to open a salon. I can't even open a salon to like the way I would like to do now with $6,000. Best investment I ever made. Very best. I was broke after that, but very best investment.
That's what's up. We got to go to these comments. So what does legacy mean to you as a business owner?
Oh, yeah, that's my baby right there. Hey, baby.
You know who asked that question?
That's my wife.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. He said, I know that.
I think so. Listen, I'm a living legacy. I don't know if my father knew it or not. I don't know if my mother knew it or not. But had it not been for the decisions that they made, I wouldn't be here. You know, a lot of people give me all the credit, like Rand, I duplicated it and I duplicated it. But I needed them to go through everything they went through. And I needed them to have me in that shop all day long because I was groomed. I was ready. Whether I wanted to acknowledge it or not, I was ready. And whether I wanted to see it or not, that was the destiny. That I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. And you can fight destiny, but so much. And I had to give in. And I think the legacy is, and I think it depends on how you look at business. Like, I'm okay with if I die and my daughters don't have any interest. I'm all right with it. But I'm obligated to leave them a product that's sellable so that they set either way. Like if I die and they say, hey, I don't want to do it, then I'm right now, they got a sellable product. They got a sellable brand. If they put it on the market, my kids, they can sell it. And they might not live and eat off of it forever, but they can move on to their next step. And I think that we when people think legacy, we always think that they got to pick up the torch. Sometimes the torch is just gonna die out, but you got to make sure that that flame is hot enough to push them over to the next step. And that's just where I'm at with it. Like I want them to just do what they feel is right, and if they don't like it, I want to leave a product that's sellable, and that I want to leave lessons like my father left, because those lessons have no value. They're more valuable than any of this stuff.
All right, we got a question for you. How important is your faith to you as a businessman?
It's the most valuable thing. I'm one of the I have prayed for things and seen them come. For example, yesterday I said, hey, God, I got this basement for rent at the salon. I need somebody to come and rent it. This was 2 weeks ago. And as soon as I said it, somebody came and like, Rans, I got my money. I'm deposit ready. Just like that. I'm not trying to fake or put this out like it's BS. I'm just telling you and the people that are listening, if you pray big prayers. I feel like, and I'm not somebody that's read the Bible from cover to cover or any of that, but I have noticed that my biggest prayers are the ones that get answered the fastest. The small ones get answered, but
what's your definition of a big prayer?
Depends on what I'm praying for. But I don't pray.
Mean long? Does it, when you say it's a big prayer, you mean just thinking big?
Thinking big, doing things that you feel like are unreachable.
Okay.
Like I remember, listen, I'm a believer in manifestation. I look back in my phone and look at things that I have screenshot from years ago, and I take inventory of it, and I did it. You know, I'm like, dang, I bought that. I drove that. I went there, you know, and it's happened. So sometimes the small prayers you don't realize when they get answered, but the big prayers, I remember praying for my shop in Waldorf. I was negotiating that deal for like 2 years, and I wanted it that bad. I just stayed at it. Like, God, I needed that elevation. I wanted it, and I think He tests you. How long you gonna keep asking me for it? You know, to see if you're gonna really stand firm on what you believe. And I mean, with Him, and even my wife, like, you know, like I needed her too, because I'm praying and she like, dude, man, listen, but you just do the stuff at home, you know, like it. Not that she wasn't supportive, but everybody don't see it right then and there. But I can see things that, you know, I don't think everybody see it when I see it.
That's not it. And, you know, as a visionary, I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you think that sometimes that's a lonely place, being a visionary?
Yeah, unless they understand you, unless it's somebody that understands you. You got to have your person. I've been blessed to have my person, but everybody don't have that. And I got good people around me. I got one best, like my brother who's here, but I got like my man Mario, my girl Murray that's on here. You know, like I got some people, man, that really know, you know, They're staying in my corner, and if I call them, they coming. So everybody don't have a tribe like that, and I've been blessed with that. That's one of the most valuable things that I have.
All right, let's go to these comments. I'm telling you, can you believe that it's 7:45 already? Okay, Sam, thank you for your question. Do you or are you offering classes to new stylists coming into the game? Like, how does that work?
It's something that I'm trying to put together. This, to see if first figuring out. I was just talking to my wife about not long ago. Excuse me, what I have to offer, trying to put it together, packaged up right to make it beneficial for somebody short term and long term. But if you just need help and you want to talk, and I'm here. I'll help you best I can, even if it's not in the form of a class.
I got you.
I'm willing to talk to you.
Drop some nuggets.
Yeah. If I got what you need, if not, I'll send you where you gotta go.
So is it safe to say that you feel like when you have a conversation with somebody, it's going to change their life if they listen? It's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, April. Thank you so much for tuning in. April said, "Do you have a vision outside of the salon business?"
What, for my life or?
I know that's a pretty broad question. Yeah. What do you mean specifically, April? Like, does he see himself doing something outside the salon business? We just want to make sure we answer that clearly. We want some clarity on that question right there. Yeah, but that's good right there. So we learned so many things about you. You just seem to be such a confident guy, but still humble though. You don't strike me as arrogant. You just
I'm not gonna say arrogant, but I think when you know.
All right, now I got a question. You guys, sometimes a lot of people don't automatically think that they don't automatically want the best. A lot of people settle. They just want subtle things. Do you think that their mind needs to be retrained there? Or do you think it's a reason why they shoot so low? Or do you think it's okay for some people to shoot low?
I think it's okay to be you. If that's what you like and it make you happy and you feel good, I think it's okay. But if you come talk to me, then I may have to give you. I'm going to try my best to inspire you to be a better version of yourself. But it's up to you to get it. And if you don't want to do it, then that's fine. I'm still going to love you.
I got you. Hey, Shakira, how you doing? That's one of my old stylists. She said you are very, very inspirational.
Thank you.
I know she definitely knows about the Rands. I'm telling you, people know about Rands.
I guess they know.
I don't know if you realize it because you're in it, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes as a business owner, I can speak for myself as well. We don't realize what's really happening because we're in it. By the time it's time to take pictures and sign autographs, you are tired from the process.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of times your mind probably is somewhere else and your view is not what people are looking at you like from the outside.
I feel like I know I have done some things, but I just don't feel like I'm done. And I feel like there's still work to be done within my business and within myself.
So that's a good one. We hear about how many things you love about yourself and how many things you want to acquire. What is something that people will be surprised that you feel you need to work on in yourself?
I think I could work on the administrative portion of my business.
Okay.
I think I'm in a position of transition where it's coming from, maybe more of a small business to mid-range corporate. I've got to navigate the process of not having my hand on the pulse of it. I think I still want to do, but it's so much to do that I need helping hands. And I got some good helping hands. But the problem is, am I allowing them to do it?
That's the sermon of the week.
Right. Am I allowing them to do it?
That's the sermon of the week.
And the thing is, when you don't allow them to do it enough, then they question themselves like, well, am I supposed to do
Am I good enough?
I don't know if they think if they're good enough, but I think it's like, well, am I supposed to do, you want me to do this today, but you didn't want me to do it yesterday. So it's just figuring out like, okay, how much control am I, wanting like, or do I need to have?
Look, that is an interesting factor because I struggle with this same thing.
Mm.
Do you think that it's just a natural thing for visionaries to want to have control over most things?
Yeah, no. I think I think maybe it might just be me because I don't want anybody to have anything negative to say. Like I feel like that I represent. Here's the thing: the beauty business got so many negative things.
Let me tell you something. They lighten you up.
Good.
Your people are so funny.
What they say?
I'm trying. I couldn't even stop. They
I'm
said, you know, he wants us to cook while he stands there.
right, Ray. I'm gonna stand there and I'm gonna give you the seasons.
Look, and watch behind you.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever you was about to say, just
They knew. They knew.
Oh my God. It is hard. And Tania, thank you for your comment. Thanks for tuning in. That's one of the twins. She said, before locking my hair, I only went to Rand's to get my hair done. She said, Rand's has always been so professional and helpful.
Thank you.
So, you know, okay, we got a Stephen Alfaro.
He's right. He's sitting right here.
Okay, how many other businesses have you operated in, and how have they helped you in your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, yeah, a lot of people don't know. I mean, I don't just have salons. I've had 2 tag and title services over the years. I got a head company, Bundles by Rand's. We got 2 locations. So, I mean, it's not, and then I've got the 360, the photo booth business. I've done a little moving and hauling, you know.
Okay, so you got a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. I had a snowplow business.
Wow.
I've done a couple different things, but the salon is my heart.
So question, with all of those, the question was, with all of those other businesses, how have operating in so many different hats or outfits in business kind of groomed you? You know, do you feel like seeing it from different entrepreneurial views gave you more flavor?
I mean, I think it kept me grounded. You know, it kept me willing to work. Not, you know, kept me willing to get my hands dirty. You know, gave me a little grit, and it made me understand. You know, especially the snowplow business definitely grounded me because it was not as easy as I thought. I just thought I was going to jump in this truck and push some snow. It's not that easy, you know.
So tell us a few things about that business that was difficult, that surprised you.
I mean, it's cold as heck. You just cold. You know, you out there in the streets when nobody else is. Just, I mean, it was a good business. It made some money, but it's not as easy as it looks. And it's a business that I had to operate. So it's almost like me talking to a stylist that's standing behind a chair, and I'm trying to tell them, hey, you know, do this like that. And I got no recollect of what they're trying to perform. So it gave me that understanding, like, you know, hey, sometimes the people that's doing it just know. And you need to just follow suit, you know.
Right. So you bit off a little more than
more
what
than
you could chew.
Yeah.
Okay. How can one hear this show with others? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sandra, you know what? This show will be posted here forever. You can always come back to this show. And anybody that wants to pull the show for future references, Ro Ingram has a YouTube page, and all of these shows are edited and posted there within a week's time. So you can also check it there. So if you did miss that, you can check it on here, my Facebook page, or on Rand's Facebook page history, or you can go to Ro Ingram on YouTube to catch all the shows. Thanks for asking. So yeah, like I said, you know, the time really flies, and we're like down to our last 8 minutes of the show. And I'm telling you, and you guys, if you have any last questions, get them in now because the show is almost done. But tonight I learned a lot about you, and whether you realize it or not, you know, I gained some nuggets, you know, just listening to you. You said it's refreshing for me. Okay. You know, I don't own as many salons as you do, but I do own 3, and they are,
that's enough.
And it's busy, and I'm learning a lot. You know what I mean? And it's refreshing when you hear what other people that are on the same level or higher are saying, and you make me feel sane.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because sometimes
we ain't talked about the crazy stuff.
I can only imagine, you know, and I'll say this just to close us out. What is one of the craziest things that you can say on camera that has happened that you didn't see coming in your business?
Oh wow.
Like one that's very memorable.
Yeah. I had someone drive a truck through my salon on Bexley Place. I'll never forget that. And it's still questionable if it was a setup by one of the stylists, but I remember people calling me that night, you know, my phone ringing, and they're like, yeah, the first person called me, man, this somebody broke the window of the shop. I was so tired. I had partied. Mario, I think it was the night after your birthday party. And my man Mario birthday party. So I was, you know, I partied. And man, I'm like, oh, I ain't coming up there. If they broke the window, I'm so exhausted. And then about 3 a.m, they called me, man, you need to come up here. Man, it's a hole in the wall. And I remember coming down St. Barnabas Road, and my whole, like, I had like an out of body experience, because I'm like, is that a whole pop chunk of my building gone? Like a whole chunk of it. And then they drove the truck like through the building, around in the building to turn around. It was like seeing your dreams just get smashed. But what I will say is, the good thing is, years before that, something told me to invest in insurance. And that's one of the biggest things I want to leave people before we get off it, business owners. If you got brick and mortar or whatever, get some business insurance. Because had I not had business insurance, I do not know where that derailment would have taken me, because I still would have been responsible for said lease, because that does not let you out of your lease. In fact, you're responsible for building the building back. So you behind the bubble twice. So I was so happy that we had insurance. Other than the emotional and the ego part of it, that somebody would do this to me, because I'm still like, man, I'm Renz. Who would do this to me? Right? But that's one of the craziest things. I mean, to just see. And to this day, that building, we rebuilt the building. But I remember I said, we're going to leave this towel on the floor. So I had memories of this truck driving through here to steal an ATM that had like $20 in it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, had $20 in it.
But I'm gonna tell you what, I remember when that happened. That was word on the street. I'll tell you what, I remember all about that. Everybody on here saying, I remember when that happened.
Yeah, well,
that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Said,
somebody know who did it.
That is crazy. All right, so we're gonna close out with this last question. Much respect to you for being multifaceted. But any plans on expanding with your hair products, shampoo and conditioners, edge control, or anything like that?
Oh, we have shampoo and conditioner and edge control. We get ready to come out with some mousse and foam wrap. But I already have shampoo, conditioner, edge control, stick waxes, already on hand. So you can go into any of the Bundles by Renz locations and purchase those things, or online. So.
All right, you guys. I mean, you just dropping it. Is it anything that you want to leave everybody with outside to get insurance for your business piece?
Well, I'll tell you what. If I keep seeing a lot of people say they want to talk. So if you want to talk, you can call me on my business line. It's 202-701-5171. Or you can call or text me. I respond and I answer to most of the call. You know, I try to. So if you don't get me, just hit me back, or you can send me a DM on the salon page, Salon Renz.
Hey, y'all heard it right there. So if you guys need it, repeat your number one more time, because I saw even one of my people wanted to talk. Sam said, I need to talk to that brother.
It's 202-701-5171.
All right, you guys. And there you guys have it right there. Renz, I thank you so much for coming on and your transparency. You know, you just brought it tonight.
Thank you.
I am full.
I'm happy you asked me to come.
I'm serious. I'm like, oh my goodness. Tonight was just such a blast. I learned a lot. Everybody learned a lot, I'm sure. You guys, make sure you like and share this. Make sure you guys give Renz a call if you're interested in anything that he mentioned tonight. Great guy. And I'll see you guys right here next Monday at 7 for another episode of Let's Talk with Ro.
That's pretty dope.